We're in Fort Myers, Florida at the Red Sox facility here. We just met Yoan Moncada, 19-year-old who's just got a $31.5 million signing bonus after leaving Cuba and joining the Red Sox. A lot of hype around this kid. It seemed like a pretty emotional press conference for him, Scott. What were your takeaways?
Yeah, a lot of hype and a lot of questions because Yoan Moncada, unlike most Cuban players, he came over here legally. He was allowed to leave Cuba and come to the U.S. Rusney Castillo, Jose Abreu, Yasiel Puig, you name it, they have defected. He was allowed to leave here. A lot of questions today to his agent/accountant, David Hastings, who is, as I said, a CPA in Tampa, not a trained agent, about how did you get hooked up with this guy and how did this relationship develop, and not a whole lot of answers to be gleaned, not a whole lot of people wanting to talk about the backstory or the history. And, so now he gets injected into the Red Sox minor league system as another minor league player, but we all know for $31 million, he's not just another minor leaguer.
No, he's going to be buying a lot of dinners, I would think, for a lot of his teammates. He says he wants to play second base. He prefers to play second base. The Red Sox are probably going to keep him at second base, at least for this year when he starts with Single-A Greenville. But he wants to be in the major leagues within a year, he says. And if he's as good as everybody says he is, do you think the Red Sox can find a way to get him here that quickly?
Now, I'd still say a year is ambitious, and I like the ambition. I like the goals, but pump the brakes a little bit because he is only 19. He doesn't turn 20 until May. We all saw last year how hard it was for Xander Bogaerts at 21 to be a full-time, everyday major leaguer, and he had a little bit more baseball background, a little bit more in Aruba than Moncada's had in Cuba. So, again, I think that to be in the big leagues next year, especially at second base where he's going to begin play in Greenville, I mean, we all know Dustin Pedroia is a second baseman here for a while. So I think 1 year is ambitious. And I talked to Ben Cherington a little bit about this, and he invoked the name Jose Iglesias, another young Cuban player that the Red Sox signed when he was young, at 19, I think. And he was in the big leagues kind of fast, and it took him a few years, and it was still kind of fast. And Ben said, maybe we moved a little too fast with Jose Iglesias, and we're not going to do the same thing with Moncada. So I like the fact that he thinks he's going to be there in a year. I want him to think he's going to be there in a year, but he's not. He's not going to be.
And the Red Sox don't have to start paying him until he establishes himself, just like any other minor league player. Just because he got the $31 million doesn't change that at all. He'll be paid league minimum for his first 3 seasons and then go into arbitration like anybody else would.
Yeah, I know there are a lot of questions about that. So it's a minor league contract with a $31.5 million signing bonus attached. So that's a huge bonus. It's larger than anyone has ever gotten, any amateur has ever gotten. He's going to have that in the bank as a head start. But when he gets to the big leagues, he's going to make big league minimum, just the way Xander Bogaerts does and the way Mookie Betts does, for 3 years, and then he goes to arbitration and then free agency. So he won't start making big money as a player until he gets 6 years in, like any other player. It's that $31.5 million signing bonus that gets him quite the head start.
Right, exactly. And Moncada, for everything we talk about him, seems like he really handled himself well, I thought, in the press conference for a 19-year-old. Was getting emotional talking about his past and leaving Cuba, and didn't really want to talk about his family that he left behind. It seems like he just wants to play baseball right now. So my final question, what I'll leave you with, Scott, is he's a big kid. He looks gifted. You saw him play a little bit. What are your impressions of him as a baseball player?
Yeah, I mean, to say I saw him play, I saw him take a few rounds of batting practice. So, and it was his first day taking full-fledged batting practice yesterday on the field here. So you really don't know yet, but he is. He's huge. He's enormous. He's got huge biceps. He's got huge forearms. His agent, or his accountant agent, has described him as just, a total freak of nature, and he is. I talked to Seth McClung, a former big league pitcher who oversaw his workouts, and he said he's got the face of a 19-year-old, he's got the body of a 24 or 25-year-old, and he really does. So that's what sticks out. Now we'll see what kind of a player he is. I'm sure that he's kind of raw. I'm sure that some of that ability needs to be honed, and that's what they're going to do now over the course of his minor league career, is make him into a baseball player. He's obviously an athlete and a physical specimen. Now turn him into a baseball player, and that'll be a process.
Exactly. Well, I'm sure tickets will be hot down in Greenville this year. But that's about it for today from Fort Myers. For videographer Chris Evans, Scott Lauber, I'm Jason Mastrodonato. Thanks for watching.